Hi and welcome. My name is Erin from Erin's Herbs, and here on my channel I post weekly videos on how to create DIY bath and beauty products. So let's go ahead and get started with this week's video. Today I'm going to show you how to make this face wash for oily skin. This has a gel-like texture. It's very gentle, but yet very effective for removing dirt and oil from the skin. To begin making this face wash, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weigh out some glycerin into my beaker. Now, glycerin is what's known as a humectant. It is suitable for most skin types as it will not clog the pores. And when you're washing your face, sometimes you can experience some dryness, and that is because you have lost moisture. What glycerin will do is it will help to replenish that moisture. Next, I'm adding some xanthan gum. This acts as a thickener in the face wash, and it will give our finished product a nice gel-like consistency. So now that I've added the xanthan gum, I'm going to stir this really well. I want to make sure that it is incorporated into the glycerin, so it'll make like a slurry mixture. And this will be what helps to thicken up this face wash. After a few minutes of stirring, here is what the slurry looks like. Now that I've created the slurry, I'm going to go ahead in a separate beaker, weigh out some distilled water. This will not only help to hydrate the skin, but it will also act as a solvent. This next ingredient, which is witch hazel hydrosol, is going to help to reduce the acne-causing bacteria on the skin. It will reduce inflammation, but it also helps to regulate sebum production. Now, this is important to note that you don't want to use witch hazel that, say, you get from the grocery store or convenience stores. This needs to be witch hazel hydrosol. There is a difference. I'm now going to go ahead and add some lavender hydrosol. This will give our wash a nice floral scent to it, but it also helps to soothe and calm any redness or irritation present on the skin, as well as hydrate it and balance oil production, which is really important, especially when you have oily skin. This is very refreshing and hydrating, and when you combine the witch hazel and the lavender hydrosol together, the lavender will balance the scent from the witch hazel. Now, with the slurry that I created earlier, I'm going to go ahead and spoon this into my water and my hydrosols, and I find that this is easier to do than to pour the water into the slurry. That's just me, but once I have spooned all of the slurry into my waters, I'm going to go ahead and thoroughly stir this. Now, this process does take some time. I just want to be very honest with you here. And the reason for that is because you'll notice that there will be some clumps. You want to make sure to continue to stir, and then what's going to happen is as you are stirring, the waters with the xanthan gum and the glycerin will start to really plump up, and it will give your slurry, it will become very smooth, and you'll notice it becomes more gel-like. Now that there is no longer any clumps, I'm going to go ahead and add my preservative, which is Liquid Germal Plus. This is a broad spectrum preservative. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add my surfactant, which is cocoa glucoside. This is a plant-based ingredient. It is very gentle for the skin, and I chose it because it will not clog the pores. So if you have oily or acne-prone skin, you definitely don't want to be clogging those pores, so that's really important. And this will help to lift dirt and oil from the skin, but yet it won't leave it feeling overly dry or irritated. After adding the cocoa glucoside, I'm going to go ahead and one more time stir this, but this time I'm going to stir it slowly rather than really fast, and that is because I want to avoid as many soap bubbles as possible. And this will just, the stirring part will just help to incorporate that surfactant into the rest of the ingredients, making this finished product very stable and effective. Before I go ahead and package this, I'm going to check the pH range, and I'm going to use this pH meter. Now, if you don't have this meter, don't worry, because I'll show you another way that you can test the pH range. Another option to check the pH is going to be this pH strip. And with this strip, I'm just going to match it up here on this guide. And with both the meter and the pH strip, I'm noticing that it is a little high on the pH range. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and add some citric acid and water solution to my beaker, and then I'm just going to allow this to sit for a minute. Once this sits, I'm going to go ahead and stir it well and then recheck the pH. I'm going to go ahead and check the pH with both the pH meter and the strip just to continue to show you how to do it. And what I'm noticing here is that both of these are showing that it is within normal range. It's reading 5.5. Alrighty, time to go ahead and pour everything into my pump bottle. As I'm pouring, I realized I really like how this formula turned out. It has such a great gel-like consistency to it. And one thing that I did want to mention to you is that when you're using this, because I included so many humectants in it, you will not need to use a toner when using this, which I think is really good. Hey, less products to use, right? So this is something that you can use daily. It will help to control sebum production. And like I mentioned, it is hydrating. And this is just about 4 ounces that this formula makes. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply a pump of the wash to my hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of water to it just to activate the surfactant. And then once I've added that water, I'm just going to go ahead and gently rub it in. And you can see here it does have some bubbling action. Not a whole lot, but that's okay because it is a very gentle cleanser. As always, here are some substitutions that I think would work well here in this formula. For either the witch hazel or the lavender hydrosol, use either aloe vera liquid or simply more distilled water. In place of the glycerin, use propanediol 1,3. And then the only surfactant that I felt like worked the best here in this particular formula is going to be diesel glucoside instead of the cocoa glucoside. When it comes to the preservative, I have used other times, I've used Optifin Plus instead of the Liquid Germal Plus, and I felt like that worked really well. So thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more DIY formulas, don't forget to like and subscribe.